Welcome back. I was looking over there. I should have been looking right here. Welcome back into the Sports Source, this segment of our show.
Hey now.
Yeah, exactly. Professional. Brought to you by Safety Systems. The folks at Safety Systems put together a tremendous summer Sports Source package. I want to show you this graphic if we can get that up. Look at this. 55-inch HD Sony television, wireless Sonos soundbar. You get all the equipment, all the installation. They'll train you to use your smartphone or your tablet to control all this, all for just $3,300. You can create your own man cave this summer, impress the neighbors. You're going to spend $1,000 or more than that if you go through anyone else. Safety System is the group to call. Call them and ask for J.J. Surlis, the former Vol and sometime panelist here on the Sports Source. I was trying to come up with a good name, but panelist works. J.J. Surlis and Safety Systems. It's a great package. Ask them about it. All right, back with Mike Keith and John Wilkerson and whoever I was looking at over there. Guys, for years, we asked John about this earlier, for years you were the guy that was peppering people with questions. Now you're on the other side of it. You're as much a spokesman for the Titans as you are their play-by-play guy.
I am.
Did one role help prepare you for the other one?
Oh, sure.
And has it been difficult for you to bite your tongue at times?
Not as much as you might think. It truly is probably the biggest reason I got the job, is because they
Your
felt
duplicitousness?
I'm out of here.
It's good to see you.
I'm out of here. But the bit about being able to handle some of that and having somebody that they could send out, because remember, when I got hired, they were coming off the Memphis year, which was not
awful.
Didn't really go great.
Yeah.
See, now when you're in this role, you say it didn't really go great. It didn't go as well as we had hoped. And there was real
bumps along the way.
Yeah, a few bumps. There were some questions about how it would work, and when I walked in, it was not all roses and wine. It was some work, and I think I had learned and understood what the challenge would be. The big thing that you've got to do in that situation is just tell the truth. Now, I was never a person that was going to personally cut on somebody or something on the air. That's not what I did when I was on the air here. Mm-hmm. I might disagree, I might get into it with people, but it was going to be less about personality and more about facts or just what the argument was. So that was never a big issue in terms of having to bite my tongue. There are moments that you're like, this isn't so great.
Right.
Going through 2-14, there's not a real good way to put a spin on that. You just have to say it wasn't good.
Well, John, I was going to ask you, you guys have Mike on just about every week, certainly during football season. Specifically, you talked about him being the right person that could do all of this, but specifically, have there been any times when you've pulled a punch when it comes to asking about a rough deal with the Titans? Because as you mentioned, and we'll get into this a little bit later, you went through some real highs with the Titans when you got there, and now you've been on the rebuilding path, which is rough. Have you noticed the difference has it changed the way you ask questions to him, that when he was there with Steve McNair and you're in the playoffs every year, it's a happy hour. Now it's, okay, you're 3-10 now on the season. Has that changed the dynamic at all in his in-show appearances?
I don't think so. I think they're just, we'll just say that the landmark for draft questions started a little bit earlier this past year. So we just got there a little bit ahead of schedule. And the thing is, Mike isn't just great talking about the Titans, but he's also fantastic to talk about the rest of the league. So you can ask about the opponent, you can ask about things that are going on in the division, top to bottom, other divisions, you name it. It's a fun conversation.
Well, and quickly, that's a part of this is if you're doing the job right, you're not just selling the Titans, you're selling the whole league.
Right.
Because we're one of 32 outposts, and that's the beauty of the National Football League is that, Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Ben Roethlisberger and the Patriots and the Steelers and the Cowboys and the Super Bowl, that's all us. That's all what we do overall. And so it's important to know and be able to talk about that just as much as being able to talk about your own team, particularly when times aren't quite as good.
I don't know that the folks in Boston feel like they're part of the league right now, but that's a different topic for another story. John, I know you've got to get out of here, but I wanted to just let you sum up. You took over sports, and this is the unusual thing. You guys were working together and doing great with Sports Talk. You leave, you get the Titans gig. That's worked out great. Bob Kessling replaces John Ward. You replace a legend. That's tough. He's done great. Sports Talk has done bigger and better. talk about, I mean, that's unusual for it works out for everybody.
It did.
But talk about the transition from Mike's Sports Talk to your Sports Talk and how much of his push is still signature to the show.
Well, I think what you want to look for is the consistency that Mike brought. And I mean, that was a standard that he set. And it again echoes down from Bobby Denton. But I was blessed for the fact that they knew they needed to bring somebody in that could replace Mike's intellect, contacts, information, you name it, and it was Jimmy Hyams. So I was blessed to have a partner in Jimmy Hyams come on the show and take over that information side of things. And since Jimmy was making the move from print to radio, I was there to handle the radio side of things.
And you had Brent Hubbs too,
Absolutely.
who was really I mean, he was 22 at that time, but he was blowing up.
Oh, absolutely.
Big time himself. And so we were lucky. We had a lot of good people around, and Bobby Denton's support, I think, is paramount in all of it.
All right. John Wilkerson, thanks for joining us. Always good to see you two. We'll get together in 18 more years.
When the next statute of limitations runs out.
Yes. We'll
Allowed
have
to
them
come back in the county.
They'll have us wheeled in to do our show. All right. When we come back, I want to talk to Mike about what he missed at Tennessee, the good and the bad, when you left to go to the Titans thing. Come on back on the Sports Source.
Follow the Sports Source online at sportsource.tv and on Twitter at SportsSourceTV.